Oh, there we go.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the fourth All-Star Artist Jam here at Lightbox Weekend. My name is Adam Hartel. I'm going to be your host today, and we've got a great time in store for us. I'd like to say thank you to our sponsors, Noman, for allowing us to use their Twitch channel and their stream to bring all these artists together for everyone coming over from Lightbox. Those of you who are joining us from outside Lightbox, perhaps, maybe you're just wandering around the internet and found this. This is a part of Lightbox Expo. This is an amazing conference for artists that was debuted last year in Pasadena, California. And this year, because of social distancing, they've really innovated the way that they've taken this online. And as you can see, we have artists right now that are drawing on a cloud-based drawing application very similar to Photoshop called Magma Studio. So we've got some fantastic artists that are going to be just hanging out, having a bit of an art jam. We're going to be talking. It's going to be conversational, really chill. You can ask questions in the chat. For anybody who's not familiar with Gnomon, I just wanted to mention that Gnomon is, in fact, a 3D art school. We're located in Hollywood, and we specialize in training artists for careers in visual effects, animation, and in games. So if those are disciplines that are of interest to you, you can definitely check out our website just at gnomon.com, Gnomon. And I'll share a little bit later in the chat, guys, that if you see something you like that you want to take, we're actually offering a 20% discount for Lightbox this year. So if you want to take an individual class, you can just put Lightbox in the registration discount code, and you get 20% off an individual class at our school. So with that, guys, I just want to say welcome, and I definitely want to say welcome to all of our artists who are here with us right now. They're jumping in, they're starting to draw and sketch, warm up and whatnot. But guys, would you mind, in no particular order, just kind of chime in and introduce yourselves and just share a couple things about what you do?
Who's
And this
going first?
this is the fun
No,
part because this is the part where everybody's so polite
No,
nobody
you
wants to talk
go. No,
first.
you go.
Kathleen, you go first because you talk first.
Okay. So I'm a visual development artist. I work at Netflix Animation, currently on an unannounced show. Yeah. What else should I say? I used to work on Scoob at Real Effects.
Cool.
Who's next?
Cool.
Calling on people.
I'll be next. I'm Renee Terry, and I work at Adobe. I am the marketing manager for drawing and painting. But I don't know how I got stuck in the corporate world because I'm an artist too. I love to draw and paint, and I actually went to school for it, just like most of you did. And I accidentally became friends with Bobby because of Sketchbook Pro, which was a job I used to work. I used to be their community manager. So sadly, Sketchbook Pro has kind of gotten a little bit shelved at Autodesk, but Adobe snapped me up, and now I'm helping them develop Adobe Fresco, which is their app for the iPad. It's totally free. Please go try it. Just try it. It's free.
Cool.
Thanks
Welcome.
for having me.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll go next.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Shu Chen. I used to work in mobile games, but 2 weeks ago I switched jobs. I'm currently working in Unity doing some concept art and illustrations for project proposals.
Awesome. Welcome.
Yeah, short intro.
Yeah.
I'll go. I'm Alex Constead. I'm an art director at Netflix Animation, working on an unannounced project. And I do a lot of personal projects. I've got a book called Oblascura on Kickstarter right now. But yeah, glad to be here.
Cool. Welcome, Alex. And for our viewers, just let you know, I am bringing in the video windows now for our artists from our Zoom call, so you can see who's talking when they're talking. But I think people mostly want to pay attention to the canvas anyway, so that's fine. Yeah. So our next artist, please.
I'll go next. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Vicky.
Okay. Hi, I'm Victoria Ying. I am a visual development artist and comics artist. I used to work at Disney Feature Animation, where I was visual development for 8 years. And since then, I've become a author illustrator, and my debut graphic novel, City of Secrets, is currently in stores now, and I'm working on the sequel.
Awesome. And by the way, I took your VizDev course on Schoolism, and
Oh, cool.
it was really good. If anybody is interested, especially for someone like me, if you're doing concept art and you're kind of wondering, like, what is the difference between concept design and visual development, it's a great course to take.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Linda. I'm a VizDev artist, and currently I'm art directing Troll Hunters: Rise of the Titans for Netflix, and it's the fourth in the Guillermo del Toro trilogy.
Awesome.
On Netflix.
Very cool. Welcome.
I'm Mel O'Neill Tuna. I work as a character designer on TV animation. Currently working for Poppy Dog Pals. And yeah, I'm Latina. I came from Venezuela. So it's been nice to be drawing here with you guys.
Awesome. Welcome. Yeah.
I'll go next. Hi everybody. I'm Sunmin. I am a VizDev artist as well, in feature mainly, and currently I'm art directing on a feature film over at Netflix that's unannounced. Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks for being here.
It was so nice.
Is that everybody?
I think so.
Wait, I guess.
I don't want to cut anyone off.
Everybody's being so polite. I love it.
Hey, my name's Jared Morantz. I've been a concept artist for about 20 years. I do a lot of Marvel and DC movies, work a lot with visual development, and I bounce around a lot.
Cool. Welcome, Jared. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
I guess I can go. My name is Dominic Ramsey. I am an illustrator and character designer. I do mostly freelance. Yeah, I do mostly freelance.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. and it's fun. I like doing freelance. Welcome, Dominique.
Thank you.
And then is that everybody now? I don't want to be the guy that forgot somebody.
I didn't go.
Okay.
I'm kind of nervous. My name's Elaine, and I'm kind of like fresh to the industry. I'm currently doing background painting for solar opposites, and like maybe someday I want to move on to VizDev.
Awesome. Thank you for being here, Elaine.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sophie. I work at Google on the Google Doodles team, doing illustrations and animations, and a bit of art direction. And I have an animation background, so I'll occasionally do some background paint and design for TV animation. And I'm also a kids book illustrator on the side. Nice to meet everybody.
Cool. Welcome, Sophie. It sounds like you might be having some audio issues, and that could just be internet speed related. It doesn't sound like your hardware is glitching. We could still understand you, but I'll let you know if anything happens along the way. Cool. Is that everybody? I'll take that as a yes. Or what? Okay.
I was just gonna agree.
All right, cool. I'll take that as a yes, guys. Well, this is super cool, and it's fun. By the time we usually get through introductions on these streams, everybody's already really moving along in their sketches. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to let everybody, just go a little bit more with the muse that they found. But as the canvas starts to fill up, I will do a refresh, and we'll start interacting with a prompt, which is always fun. But just while everybody's working here, and artists, please feel free to interact with each other. If you have questions for each other, or you just want to chat and talk, this is more of just a informal hangout than it is a demo or a lesson of some sort. And for everybody in the chat, feel free to type some questions in the chat. I'll do my best to get to some of them as they come up. But really, this is just a time to actually do something that you normally wouldn't be able to do. And I think an innovative thing like Magma Studio is really cool because we all get a front row seat. In fact, we get to be on the platform with the artist looking over their shoulder on their Cintiq as they're drawing. And that's something that is just not possible like that at a live event. So I think that's a great example of how the limitations of social distancing have brought on some amazing innovations that I think we're all benefiting from. And I don't want any of those innovations to go away when we're through this pandemic, because I think it's just going to enrich our lives as artists that much more when we come through this. So yeah, keep drawing, everybody. I'll keep my eye on the chat. And yeah, let's just enjoy our time.
Is you guys screen lagging a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right?
So you guys are experiencing some lag?
Mine's pretty good. Okay.
Yeah,
mine is slow.
I'm thinking about getting out and coming back in through Google Chrome.
Okay,
oh, we should do that?
That has helped in some cases. So if you have Chrome, try leaving, coming back into the same link that I shared in Google Chrome, and then let us know if that works better.
I'm going to give that a shot.
Okay, Jared.
Yes.
Let's see. Somebody in the chat just said the monster in the car. That is awesome.
Went straight to my comfort zone.
Oh yeah, and that's the other thing that's really cool. You know, you get artists just sketching and drawing, and it's not strictly for educational purposes or for demonstrative purposes. You get to see what artists like to do when they're just chilling, you know, and kind of the comfort drawings, as it were.
Yeah, that didn't help much. It's so
It did. You said it didn't help that much coming back in Chrome. I'm sorry to hear that. It may improve. Sometimes I know that these things just have to kind of settle in as your system optimizes around it. But let us know if it just keeps chugging along and if the problem persists.
Okay, it's fine. I'll just manage.
Are you working in Windows or on Mac?
I'm on Mac with Chrome.
Okay. You might want to, for anybody who hasn't already, you might want to take a look at the little hamburger menu up in the upper left-hand corner, just next to File. You drop that down, and there's a help file that you can click on. You scroll to the bottom of the help file, and it has all the keyboard shortcuts, which are going to be very similar to Photoshop. But the help file also has, notes for people on a Mac, notes for people on a PC, depending, there's even notes for iOS. So if you're experiencing any challenges, you might want to take a look there. And it looks like, I think, does everybody have pressure sensitivity as well? Is anybody not getting that? Looks like everybody is getting along pretty well. But yeah, if anybody experiences a problem with that, there's a few fixes that have come up for that along the way. All right, cool. Okay, so there's a general question that's come up that I'm sure a lot of you have been asked already. And that is, the difference between working remotely in your job and working in studio. And I think for a lot of us that freelance, a lot of times it's just always remote. But which do you like better, and what has it been like adjusting to that? If anybody wants to take a stab at that question.
Well, I've been remote for 4 years now, 3 years. And it was a big adjustment for me, just going from a studio environment where, there was so much structure, and then kind of being in charge of your own schedule. I remember that took me like 6 months to adjust. So, seeing everyone else kind of go through that all at the same time with the pandemic.
Oh yeah.
It was really like, oh my gosh, like the pressure you guys must have been under to like make that adjustment. I think that like it depends on the person. Like I have now discovered that I can work pretty well remotely, but it took me a long time to feel comfortable doing that. But yeah.
And I think you're like in the San Gabriel Valley, right? Like in the Pasadena area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pasadena.
I found that that's just a great location to be in too. If you need to get to different studios and locations. Oh, Jared's waiting in the waiting room. Hang on, let me admit him. Make sure he gets in.
Thanks. Just to like talk about the recent change as an introvert. I know that it's a complete disaster outside, but personally, I find it a lot more relaxing to just kind of like sit in my chair and not have to socialize.
Totally.
You know, it's funny because I'm extroverted, but I feel the same way.
Oh, really?
I'm extroverted. Like, I don't mind talking to people. Like, I have no fear of it, but I am very antisocial at the same time, which is super weird. I know, but it's true.
I think it's also that you like in the morning when you go to work, there's like almost like an hour and a half that you spend just getting to work. You know,
yes.
like you wake up.
Coffee.
Yeah, coffee. You like in my case, I put on makeup. I have to dress. Oh, man, I gotta wear something that's not from yesterday. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's just so much thinking and energy involved in going to work. But then now you just kind of wake up, just sit at your desk. It's just kind of nice, you know?
Yep. And, you know, I definitely feel that was a huge, because I was commuting to Sony from Pasadena, which is an hour and a half each way. To 2 hours.
Down to Santa Monica or Culver City?
To Culver City, yeah.
Yeah.
So like that was my last job before I like started working from home exclusively. And so just saving that 3 hours every day was just, it saves you so much mental anguish. Because like, you really can't do anything when you drive either. Like you're just driving.
Oh, that's why I hate driving. Wasted. Yeah, I take the bus when I go to Adobe in San Francisco. And at least you can do something else. Like I can draw on my iPad or I can like read the news or whatever. But no, when you're forced to drive,
Yeah, I personally have always liked remote because I started out freelancing. So when COVID hit, I was just like, cool, I could do this every day. Every day. And then you can't even really go out in public. So I'm like, all right.
It's definitely a time to get in touch with your inner introvert. And I agree. I love all the time gained when you don't have to commute 2 times a day. What about for those of you, I think at least a couple of you have gone from working in-house to working freelance. What was that transition like?
Shocking.
Oh, someone else can go. Okay, I'll go. Yeah, so like I was working in-house for a long time and then switching to freelance, and you know, my books that I work on, they take years. You know, I signed the deal for my book that just came out in 2016. So, you know, well, maybe 2017. So it was 3 years before, you know, the book came out, and all that time to like schedule like the writing and the drawing of it, that's all like stuff you have to do. No one else is going to be on you about it. They're like, okay, deliver us a book in a year. And you just kind of have to be like, okay. And I think that like switching from freelance or from studio to freelance, getting that kind of discipline to like make sure that you are your own producer, that is a huge transition that's difficult for a lot of people, and it was for me too. So like that was something that I definitely missed. Like I missed not having to do my own administration work, and like if I have tech support issues, I have to deal with that. Like I can't just be like, I don't have to work now, you fix it, tech guy. So, you know, I think that there's definitely an adjustment to be had there. But yeah, I guess it depends on the work that you want to do. Like I miss, you know, going in, like I'm an extrovert too. So I miss like, you know, standing around the water cooler and talking about Game of Thrones or whatever, you know. That's when I left work, basically. So yeah, like I definitely, that interaction was something that I was always kind of craving. But it's nice that like now that everyone's doing this, that they've all kind of learned how to adapt, and like we have Zoom sessions and stuff now. Yeah. So I almost feel like everyone else like met me at my level, you know?
Yeah, I've been setting up virtual coffee chats with my team. Like, let's just have 15 minutes to literally bullshit, like do nothing. And that's really been helpful.
Yeah, I think for me, I definitely want to transition one day to full-time freelance, and I could definitely see myself working at home forever. But the main thing is just because of COVID, like not being able to go and like hang out at a coffee shop or go to bars with people and meet up after work and that kind of stuff. But it's really nice to be at home and be able to like do stuff during the day. Like I can take a break and hang out with my cats or water my garden, things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I totally agree, Kathleen. Like, I feel like this type of work from home is kind of different than what it would actually be without the pandemic, because you kind of have to fully jump into like, well, I'm working from home now and that's all I do, versus I guess if you were freelancing in a different, more normal time, you could even rent like a co-working space, you could have opportunities to meet people still, and now it's more just like you have to make your own opportunities.
Hey, Jared, did you make it in okay?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
good.
good. I'm good now. It seems to be running much better.
Oh, good. And you're doing that in Chrome now?
Yeah,
Okay,
that was a big help.
Good to hear.
So now.
Jared, we were talking just before we went live with the stream. You actually taught at Nomen for a while, right?
Yeah, I think it was close to 8 years, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I was over there. It's a very good experience. Met a lot of students, quite a few. I was actually able to bring on to projects and became future co-workers. So very, very proud of, at the very least, that, you know, being able to share what I do and get people interested enough to try to make a living doing it. So it's, yeah, that was very rewarding. Eventually, I got so busy I couldn't do it anymore. So now I'll only do like workshops and lectures, or just release online content, which I'm a little behind on. But I love teaching.
Well, I know at least a couple of our instructors there who I've had the pleasure of learning from were taught by you. They came up through the school with you as an instructor.
Yeah, and it wasn't that long ago, and so many of them are just so damn good and are now incredible teachers. So it was bizarre to see such a quick turnaround from student, working professional, and then, you know, right back at Nomen, you know, where I met them teaching. It's very bizarre, but it was you know, just very rewarding to teach. I really enjoyed it.
It is a very small world too.
Yeah,
it's amazing how small it is. Yeah, no, and I was talking with Kyle Brown about this, who learned from you, and we were remarking, you know, how, you know, a lot of times people might look over at, you know, artists working in entertainment, working as digital artists, and how that's so different from fine art, and it can be. Although, you know, you definitely bring a lot of those skill sets in, but because digital art is still relatively young as a medium, we're really starting to now see this idea of, like, just like what happened in the Renaissance and early art history, like you have artists such as yourself who kind of did a lot of pioneering and developed some methodologies and things like that, and then pass that on to other artists, and then those artists are passing the same methodologies on, adding some of their own stuff. And you could really look, you know, down the lineage, as it were, and see the development of the craft.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, that statement makes me feel very old.
Oh, no, I don't mean it like that.
Because a lot of those guys are actually around my same age.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think, if I were to be honest, let's see, I started working in 2005. So I don't know if I've come up with any truly original, you know, techniques aside from how I taught. I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily refer to myself. I wouldn't imagine that I pioneered much, if anything, just because this, you know, the history of concept art is so established. Like, you look at, I think pioneers, I think of, like, you know, Craig Mullins or Justin Sweet, in terms of, you know, what we consider modern digital art. But
it's funny because we just had Craig on a couple of streams yesterday, and
awesome.
You know, he even shies away from that a little bit too. He's like, well, I don't know, you know. So it's funny. I think everybody makes their mark, but by nature tend to be fairly humble. But no, you can definitely see that, and nothing's like 100% original, right? Like we all borrow from something and then work with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you've been doing a lot of work in 3D now, right?
almost entirely now. I think I mentioned earlier that clients, especially with film, because I'll do a lot of video games, and there's still an appreciation for drawing, and drawing and painting is the most effective way to design. And so oftentimes when I come across people who are interested in doing what I do, I steer them away from 3D modeling and Photoshop, and I try to get them to draw for as much as possible, because it's just such a more efficient way to to work. But yeah, in film, every option now that I produce is in 3D, especially if I'm doing a creature design, because it's such a bizarre new thing that a client can't really wrap their head around. Like, even with some amazing costumes or armor designs, you can show one angle and people kind of get it. Definitely enough for like a yay or nay as to whether or not they're going to continue down that path for the design. But when it comes to a creature design, I've had to turn in full turntables over and over again for every option. So I don't get to draw as much. Oftentimes I'll actually juggle multiple projects just so I get the opportunity to draw regularly. So I might do a video game on the side, and for video games, I'll be cranking out options in Photoshop and then refining in 3D instead of film being the entire thing done in ZBrush. So it's changed a bit. The one constant in concept art is they want typically more detail in a shorter amount of time, and 3D really gets you there. So it's hard to keep up on drawing.
Well, and you brought up a really super important point about encouraging artists to spend time drawing and to develop their abilities there. And as you know, we do the same thing at Gnomon. Just because we're a 3D art school, we are teaching traditional sculpture. We're teaching figure drawing and how to draw in 3D in 2 dimensions. Because
when I was there, I only taught the 2D class.
Yeah, and there's no, and I think that 3D can seem like a shortcut through some things, but without the mileage and the foundational things, art directors can tell. If you don't know that, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. It really, it depends. I would say, again, in video games, it's a bit more organized. In film, every production that starts up is brand new. It's a revolving door of producers and talent. And so, they might not know. They might see, a bad model and love it. And then, that sets the pace, but not usually on bigger projects, but it has been known to happen.
Yeah. No, and I'll use that as a segue to mention, guys, that I did drop in the chat. This is just a shameless plug because Gnomon so graciously sponsored. We are offering individual classes at a 20% discount if you use the code LightBox. So if anybody out there is already in a 3D workflow and is interested in learning from industry professionals, or if you're entirely new to 3D, or if you want to even take some of the design classes that we offer in Gnomon, we've got some fantastic 2D design classes. Feel free to head over to gnomon.edu and browse those courses. But I'll drop that information in the chat one more time. And then after that, I'd like to take a quick tour of the canvas and just kind of talk to each of you guys and kind of see what you're doing.
I just found the new layer button. I'm really proud of it.
Oh yeah. You could do new layer. You can even do clipping masks. You can even share a layer with somebody. Yeah, with somebody else if you want. It's a similar symbol to what you'll see in Photoshop for clipping masks, right up there in the menu above the layers.
Well, good to know.
It's amazing how robust Magma is for being cloud-based like this.
Are there other brushes other than the standard one? Or?
Oh yeah.
I think right now, if I recall from what Bobby was saying when he started giving us the orientation, there's not a whole lot of different type of brush shapes, but each of those parking places just under the color wheel, whatever adjustments you make to the brush you're using will stay there. So you can hop between different types of brushes. Density is going to be more like flow, I think, in Photoshop. Opacity and hardness are going to be the same thing. But the feel's a little bit different. You got to kind of play around with it a little bit. All right, let's see. I'm going to go in and let's see. I'm just going to share some in the chat really quick. You guys are getting a lot of love for what you're making here in the chat.
Where do you see the chat? Is that in Zoom?
No, it's going to be on the Noman Twitch channel. So if you go to
gotcha.
Twitch TV / Noman_school, you can watch the live feed while we're doing this. Just ask that you mute the audio in Twitch so we don't get like a God Ray sort of echo chamber happening. Unless you like that sort of effect. I don't know. All right, so I'm going to actually zoom in on the canvas here and just kind of take a quick little tour. If you don't mind, I think I'll start with you, Renee.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So yeah, and again, no pressure. This is not about having to be a demo or anything like that, but this is sort of like we're hanging out. You're making something really cool. You want to share with us just a little bit about either what you're doing right here or just your process in general?
Yeah. So I'm just totally comfort drawing, right? Like whenever I don't know what to draw, I just draw like a girl's face, of course. That's a total comfort drawing. And I love Double Girl, so I kind of give her these horns, but then I've not really paid a lot of attention to them. I don't know. On the tip side, the only thing I can say is I pretty much blend by using the opacity trick. So I'll just talk about it real quick. Make sure that whatever brush you're using has opacity. Like you see, I'm laying down a bunch of strokes right there, and they're kind of like overlapping. And you see, as they overlap, the color changes because they're overlapping each color, right? So if I got like a red color in there, I could overlap. But those are two new shades right there. So what I'll do is I'll color pick that color, and then sort of, it's my fake way of blending when there's no smudge tool. Like I have no problem blending without a smudge tool because you just color pick and you make sure your opacity is low, and you can see I'm kind of like blending up there. Now it's gonna be chunky and not like beautiful, but that's okay. This is just for funsies.
Absolutely. Well, and a lot of times you get a little bit more of a painterly aesthetic that way too. I remember when I first started digitally painting, I was using like soft brushes a lot, and everything just starts getting a little washed out.
Mushy.
Yeah. So no, that blending method's great for edge control. Cool. Yeah. Thanks for sharing with us. I'm gonna keep going, making a bit of a carousel around the canvas here. Is this also yours, right below yours? Here? Oh no, that's Su Chen.
This is mine.
Yeah, I didn't see your cursor there for a second.
Oh, yeah, I was just listening to Renee talking, so.
Yeah. Well, hi. Yeah, you want to just tell us a little bit about how you approach your art?
Oh man, like in the beginning, I didn't have anything in mind. I thought we were just warming up, so I drew like a random girl, random face.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I tricked you guys. I'm sorry about that. I was like, yeah, no pressure, just warm up. But I know how it goes. You start making a mark, and then you get inspired, and you have to keep building on it. So, yeah, that's on me. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. And like I just remembered a conversation I had with someone else like today morning about how I got my first job. Yeah, like I was saying, I posted a lot of anime girls wearing kimono on DeviantArt. So this company like contacted me and asked me to draw them like Japanese, like personified Japanese specialties.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I think this image kind of came from that conversation. I was thinking about like what I used to draw when I was younger. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's lovely. I love it.
Thanks.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to move over to the left here, and the cursor's moving. I think is that Melanie?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. I have to like, I'm like following the cursor, trying to read it. And
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. Hopefully it's entertaining for our viewers. Yeah, how's it going?
It's good. Again, I was just thinking that it was just a warm-up, so I just started drawing a couple hugging because I miss hugs. But yeah, I don't know. I just go on like Pinterest and find like a moment that I like, and then I just try to get that moment and draw it. And usually, like lately, has been a lot of like between like interactions between two characters, like hugging or like in a party or doing stuff that we don't get to do nowadays. Things that I miss.
That's some of my favorite kind of character design. And I know that you always have to, provide orthographics and turnarounds and that kind of stuff. But I love it when you get a design that's just so contextual.
Yeah. Like a lot of my job is just drawing dogs and turning them around and putting like dresses like and bow ties on dogs. So in my free time I just draw like a lot of human interactions and like stuff that is not PG necessarily.
You're sort of like anything but dogs. No dogs today.
Yeah. I want to draw more animals in my free time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is just a random sketch of like a couple of
Yeah, this is cool. All right, and I'm gonna kind of come into the middle area here. I don't see a cursor, and these could be a few different people. I don't know. Let's see.
Oh, this is me.
Oh, hi, Kathleen. Yeah, hi.
Yeah, I also thought this was a warm up, so I was.
Well,
just
and it is. It's and I'm not asking you to like debut the artwork that you're doing right now. It's just more just kind of go around and chat. So you can talk about what you're doing here, or you can just talk about what you love about what you do.
Oh yeah, I drew my cat. He's amazing. I just adopted him during quarantine.
Oh wow.
Nice. And then I was drawing random stuff, like whatever comes to my head. Usually that's food, but I was just thinking of raccoons. So I drew a raccoon in a trash can. And then the little top left creature, I have a project called the Botanical Academy, and I'm working on like lots of plants and animals and gardens. It's all basically like a garden witch school. So it's kind of that witch boarding house vibes. Yeah, that's what I do a lot in my free time. And then at work, I'm working on an animated feature, so drawing a lot of cute animals. And yeah, but then I do go home and I draw more cute animals.
I was checking out the botanical garden last night online. It's really cool.
Oh, thank you so much.
Really, and a really neat aesthetic too.
Thanks.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's see. I'm gonna come over to, I think it's Elaine.
Oh, hi.
Hi. And is this kind of a fairy-like creature that you're working on here?
She's from Rise of Guardians. I have like an healthy obsession with her.
Well, she's one of the cooler characters. I really liked her. A lot of pathos. Yeah, so Elaine, can you tell us a little bit about, kind of, either you can talk to us about what you love about what you're doing presently, or share some things about how you approach building out a piece or something like that.
Jeez.
Or you know what? And this isn't about putting anybody on the spot either. If you're just sort of like, no, I'm just chilling, like it's all good, you can do that too.
Yeah, I don't usually talk about my process. I just draw and like move my topics. That's I have nothing to say really.
Well, and she's really cool, and it's actually, I was wondering if that was the character you were doing when I came over, but I didn't want to presume.
It's super cool. I think I actually follow you on Twitter, right? Because you do a lot of fan art of them. I just want to say it's really cool. Maybe it's you draw beautifully, and it's really cute.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fan art is also a comfort thing for me as well. And it becomes a little too obvious if you go to my Instagram, but I have a particular type of fan art that I like to draw, and that's just always home base for me, because it takes me back to when I was just a kid and just drew a lot of Star Wars because I wanted more Star Wars and had a lot of fun doing that. So when I want to blow off some steam, that's what I do. All right, let's see here. And then so we've got, I want to make sure I'm not mashing two different people's art together. We've got this giant cat, and then we've got some other sketches kind of around the perimeter of the cat. Are those two different people?
Yes, I think so. I think I'll erase my tail so that
no worries.
more space.
And we're about to do a canvas refresh too, guys. I know that space it's starting to get crowded. Yeah,
I don't mind. I kind of am enjoying hugging the perimeter. It's kind of fun to like come up with things to draw in the little weird shapes. So yeah, keep the tail there.
Please feel free to draw stuff that is interacting with my cat as well on top of it. So yeah.
And that's been super fun about Magma as well, seeing a lot of artists just sort of kind of start to interact. Yesterday, Craig Mullins was going around like kind of just sort of coming in and participating with the rendering. And then he and Sparth got like working on a piece just at random. It was really cool. So yeah, definitely feel free, you guys, if you want to collaborate too. So Sophie, did you want to tell us a little bit more about some of the stuff that you're working on right now, or just kind of share how you're enjoying the art world at the moment?
Yeah, I think, these days it's all about like comfort and doing things that keep your mental health in a good spot. So that's kind of how I'm approaching things right now, trying not to be too hard on myself or trying to let myself have a week or two of just being lazy. Um, Especially when it's like you can't even go outside to exercise because of all the smoke in the air. You just kind of
Yeah.
have to like be okay with existing. But yeah, I think what I'm drawing here is just completely just trying to like use the tool. I really liked Dominique's Fox and her inking style, so I was trying to do some like play with the pressure sensitivity and just do like this heavy ink look. I'm also experiencing some lag, so that's kind of like my way of making one stroke and then waiting for it to appear and then making
Oh,
another
wow.
one, and it's kind of
Okay.
like a zen. It's like sort of a zen like process right now.
Yeah, and sometimes slowing down is nice. But if the lag's getting really bad for you, are you working in Chrome right now? Did you already go over to Chrome?
Yeah, I'm in Chrome. It comes and goes. I think
Okay.
it's better right now,
Okay.
for sure.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for sharing. And then we'll just go straight up to, I think it's Sunmin,
Yes.
working on some tomatoes, I think. Yeah.
Tomatoes. Any tomatoes. I was
Yeah.
trying to go for persimmons, but I forgot how persimmons look. So yeah, tomatoes. Yes. This is kind of like how I draw in comfort mode.
Mm-hmm.
I usually don't use a lot of opacity in my lines when I'm just kind of like doing line drawings and just kind of exploring where the line just kind of like takes everything and I just kind of keep spreading out.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of my process and just mindlessly drawing whatever. Since you guys all know that this doesn't make any sense.
Well, it makes sense because it looks cool. I mean,
I love it.
That makes some sense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Everyone loves a cat too.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Melanie, my good friend who's drawing the beautiful couple on the right side, she was talking about my cat that was just sitting in the corner over there, but she's gone. That's why I drew a cat. Yes, that is why.
It's so cute.
I love
And
how
your tomatoes. Yeah, tomatoes are the best.
Yes. Unless you have an acidic stomach, that's not good for you.
True, it's true. And I even love tomato haters because that means more tomatoes for me.
Oh, good. Yeah.
There you go. Somebody just dropped in the chat, love tomato cat.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Tomato cat is great.
I'm gonna go to the north here up to, looks like the cursor's moving fast. Oh yeah. Who's working on the portrait up here in the upper left hand corner?
Oh, sorry, it's my Chinese name, but hi, I'm Linda.
Oh hey, yeah. No, I was trying to reconcile the names that were on the videos and the name that was on the cursor there. Yeah. So this is nice. Do you want to talk to us just a little bit about, you can talk to us about anything really. If you want to talk to us about what you're doing right now or something else about your process.
I'm just trying to get used to the tool and see like what the capabilities are, the opacity and the blending. But yeah, just that's it. It's just comfort food drawing again. It's just a face.
Totally, and I love that we get a chance to see that. And I don't know how it is for you guys. I don't know how often you get to kind of just show like what you're drawing because you're feeling really comfortable with it. But I know that for the audience, for myself included, it's just really cool to see what you guys do. And you're just like, this is just a hang for me. I'm just drawing and having fun. There's no pressure. And I think it definitely encourages people to get in that kind of space too, which is so important. Forget who it was that mentioned mental health, but I couldn't agree more. All right, let's see. I'm going to come over to, let's see. Dominique, is this it looks like a coyote here in the middle.
Yes.
Awesome. Can you talk to us a little bit about this guy?
Yeah, so I love drawing animals so much. That is my comfort zone. That is where I always go to. I sometimes have drawn animals for work, sometimes people, but I just naturally go towards animals. And when it comes to canines, something draws me towards either coyotes or foxes. Just, I don't know. But um, yeah, I just wanted to draw something with a sun, an excuse to draw a cactus. Because I like
Awesome.
canines, but I haven't drawn them in a while.
Yeah. And this is really cool.
Thank you.
I like
I
it.
love the style.
Yeah.
Yay, thank you.
All right, I'm going to swing over to Alex now. How you doing, Alex?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, now I know that you just got finished doing like a big, huge, long demonstration, so don't have to go into that mode right now. But do you want to just talk to us a little bit about how you approach your process, or maybe what you're doing right now?
Sure. Yeah, this is kind of like I do a lot of super quick kind of decompression drawing, usually on like sticky notes and stuff.
Cool.
And recently, I've been trying to kind of translate that directly into painting. So I'm doing a lot of direct color painting and just like, zero opacity, zero pressure sensitivity, and just kind of trying to have fun and be more adamant and diligent with my color picking.
Yeah.
Just kind of trying to paint with some shapes, paint some funny stuff. Cars and weird robots and monsters are kind of my go-to and my comfort zone. So
That's awesome. Yeah, Sparth was just talking about that yesterday, how he uses so many completely opaque brushes and how that forces you to kind of let go of some baggage, but then to really make a commitment to your graphical shapes and how you're going to get things to read. And I tried a little bit of that myself, and it's super helpful.
Yeah, I go on and off with using like really soft brushes to get nice smooth form gradations and things. So it's because of that, some of my silhouettes and shapes and things can get kind of muddy. So going back in and using some of these harder brushes has been super helpful for me as far as like, taking care of my edges and my shapes and making sure things feel polished.
Totally. Yeah, and this is super fun. I like what you're doing here. I like these two guys in the car. They're sort of like having the time of their lives.
Fun. Everyone else is just along for the ride.
That's great. I love it. That's kind of what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. Victoria, I think we've got you here.
Yep. Hi.
Looks like kind of a ranger sort of thing you got going on here.
Yep. So yeah, my favorite thing about art is just kind of storytelling. Now I feel like my art is really just a means to be able to tell stories. So whenever I start something, I always kind of want to have some kind of story going on. And I kind of just drew this girl, and she was talking to somebody, and I didn't know who. And my comfort drawing lately has just been like D&D characters, because during quarantine, I'm in 3 games right now.
Yes, so good.
Yeah, I'm DMing for the first time, so that's been fun. But yeah, so like my, so now I just kind of think about like, oh, okay, like how can I, how do you play with like costumes and stuff? So she's like a ranger princess who has like a fiend kind of, but then she has like 2, like I drew 1, and then I thought it'd be funny if it was kind of like a good angel, bad angel kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're kind of like funny little demon-y guys. So yeah, I mean, I just kind of love the idea of, characters contrasting with each other, having like a different emotion and responding to each other in a way that feels like it gives them personality and some kind of story, even if I just made it up just now.
For sure. That's awesome. And the blue guy on her shoulder, he looks a little concerned to me. Like he's like, oh no, she's talking to him.
He's gets pushed around a lot, I think.
Yeah.
He's the weaker of the 2, but he usually has good ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how like a whole story can just emerge like that. Right out of the blue. That's super cool. And then like, I don't want to date myself, but like way back in the day when I started playing D&D, what I loved about it was that it was basically character design. Like, yeah, I couldn't wait to start drawing my character. Because the dice basically just randomized everything for you, and then you got all these prompts, and you go to town. Super fun
totally
stuff. Yeah, is anybody else here doing some online gaming or some D&D in quarantine with some other groups?
So I was going to ask Victoria, you guys taking new players?
Right on.
For the current game I'm GMing, actually, I'm probably going to do a little supplement so other people can play. It's a homebrew, and the world is kind of a Little Witch Academia, Witch Hat Atelier kind of world.
I'm in.
So it's all casters, which is like very complicated to balance. But so everyone has to play a witch, which it's been really fun though, and I'm learning a lot. Also, like like the things that you don't expect your players to do. Like I had like a rival witch school come and they fought, but then I was like, oh, they're gonna be like mean girls, but then my players were way meaner.
That's
like,
amazing.
Oh shit.
So, yeah.
That sounds super fun. And the chat thinks it sounds really fun too. People are all like, oh, I want to play too.
Yeah, I'm developing the supplement right now, so hopefully I'll just put it out in a PDF and it should be pretty simple. But
super cool.
I've been like doodling art for it for a long time now.
That's awesome. No, I've got a colleague from Noman who he's moved on to work at a studio, and we're still on the same campaign that he started for us.
Oh my gosh.
Other colleagues, yeah, but we're in it for the long haul. This is like it's a super hardcore. You know, we're gonna level these characters up to like level, I don't know, 75 or whatever it is. But yeah, super fun. I would love to see a stream of artists all playing a role-playing game together. That would be amazing.
Fun.
You could use Magma. Everybody could just kind of be doodling what they're imagining is happening in the game, and the DM could be doing their thing, and like I don't know.
Pitch it to Lightbox.
Heck yeah, no, or just
year.
go rogue and start something. Yeah, no. In fact, my colleague just texted me. He said, "Oh, invite Alex to our game. If Alex is looking for a D&D game to play." And we actually just lost a player, so doors open, man. If you want to take it.
Yeah, it's Kathleen, my girlfriend, and I. Kathleen, she's in the chat as well. We've both been looking for some games to play. So.
Oh, cool. Well, you're welcome. He's the DM, and so he said, "Yeah, bring him in if he wants to come in."
And maybe I'll shoot you a text after our email after this little session.
For sure, man. All right, cool. Let's see. I don't feel like I've gotten at everybody yet. And I hate to put people on the spot, but is there anybody? Let's see. We've talked to Victoria, Melanie.
A duck in boots.
A duck in boots. Yes, Kathleen. Right? Is that you?
Hello. Yeah. The duck in boots. I think I already talked, but
oh yeah, you did, because we talked about I think we talked about your cat. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Pierre?
Cool.
That is Pierre. He's so fluffy. He's like a little Maine Coon mix. And he loves to watch bugs.
Beautiful.
He like sits and watches them out the window. It's so cute.
I'm looking at Sunmin. Is that you? The piece was never an option.
Yeah, Untitled Goose Game. Have you guys played that? I love that.
Yeah,
game.
that's kind of what this was inspired by. I was like, just like a grumpy goose. He's kind of scare me, so.
That was terrifying.
He's a rough negotiator.
Yeah.
And forgive me for my lapse of memory. Sunmin, have we talked yet?
Yeah, we have.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I think I got to everybody. All right. And we're about at the point where we're ready to refresh our canvas.
Okay.
Yeah, so warm-ups are just about over.
I'm going to save this image.
Yeah, I'm saving mine.
Oh, yeah, and what I'll do is I won't like erase this canvas or anything. This will still stay on the interwebs for posterity, so you can continue to use this link. You can save it out. You can even come back later and draw on it tomorrow if you want. But I'll start up a brand new link. Let me just work on that while you guys finish up here.
That little guy, quickly, before we go to
I'm drawing one of those the nerd mascots from memory.
Oh, I miss nerds.
That's all I ever think about when I paint these little colored bloody guys.
Oh,
yes.
It all started with a Jackbox TV.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because they only have like pink, green, and blue as like the colors. So I just started like painting like nerds. It's great.
I just kind of want to like go around people's drawings and just make jokes. Just write jokes. That's all I want to do.
Yeah, someone could write dialogue for my characters because they're talking. Don't know what they're saying.
Let me think.
They're arguing.
I can't think of something clever.
I love these little plant creatures on the bottom left. They're so cute. Is that like a little Lithops creature?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
So cute.
it's those are my succulent characters I make comics about.
They're so cute.
Yeah, one is a Haworthia head, and the other one is a I can't never say it. Cleospilos Nelly. It's kind of like a Lithops. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, I'm going to bring in the new canvas. I'll send you guys the link once I've got it in the screen share here. There we go. All right.
Is that in the new chat, or is it in the chat?
I'm about to put it in the chat right now.
Okay.
Should we close out the old one then?
You don't have to close it. All you need to do is just come over to the link that I'll share now in the chat.
Cool. I like the masked addition to that.
But if you are concerned about performance issues, internet stuff, you can close it as long as you save that link somewhere, like paste it to your clipboard. You can come back to it. It'll.
Oh, we should. You know what? We should have put our names down so that if we wanted to like tag each other afterwards, that would have been nice.
Oh, for sure. Well, and you know what? Take your time and do that, guys.
Yeah, let's do that.
Feel free.
Yeah, because I don't know anyone's name.
Are we writing our Instagrams on here?
Yeah,
Or,
sure.
or names?
Yeah.
Whichever.
Mine is the same. Mine is both.
I feel bad, Jared, that on the last canvas you were stuck in the waiting room and you got almost no space to work with. So I'm glad that you're one of the first ones in on the new canvas.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I'm still kind of dead in the water. I've been enjoying watching everybody, but I'll get like a couple lines in and then it just stops completely. So
Oh, weird.
I don't quite know how to fix that, but everyone's doing such amazing stuff. I don't want to pull focus.
Is it still lagging a lot for you?
It's not so much lagging as in nothing is happening. So I got as far as that circle.
Oh, no. Okay.
Squiggly ellipse. And no matter what, if I refresh, then I'll get maybe a second of drawing in, and then it all shuts down again.
Okay.
Don't know what that is. I did switch to Chrome. It actually seemed to work a little better on Safari. Surprise.
So, did we get the new link yet?
Yeah, I haven't gotten it.
Yeah, it should have shown up in the chat and Zoom. If anybody's missing that, I can send it again.
Yeah,
I tried both links and they're the old one.
Oh, okay, here.
You might
Next
have
one
just
came
sent
in.
it to
The clock.
Oh, I still don't see it. Weird.
Is it in
Yeah.
the Zoom chat or the?
I'd have just sent it to like one person.
Oh, and you know what? I'll go down to the oh, is it there? There should be a magma chat too. Hold on.
Oh yeah, I can see the magma chat.
Can somebody paste the link into the magma chat as well for anybody that needs to get it there?
Oh, okay.
Can I get it in the Zoom? I'm going off of my iOS, so
Yeah.
I can't click on.
Yeah, no, it should be in the Zoom. I've pasted it there a few times.
But is it not there?
Weird.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
Oh, you know what? Oh my gosh. Okay, everybody has permission to laugh at me now. I've been sending it privately to Jared.
Oh, I'm done. Okay.
Okay, all right. There we go.
Conspiracy solved.
There it is.
Yes. There you go. There was and trust me, there was no agenda to give Jared most of the canvas whatsoever.
All right,
No money exchanged hands, nothing of that sort.
I got 2 dead squiggles on there.
Wait, we're supposed to. We have a theme this time, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to share the prompt with you guys.
Oh shit.
All right. It's a super simple prompt, and really, if it sparks something for you, then run with it. If you want to hijack it and turn it into something else, do that. Or if you want to 100% ignore it, you can do that too. But just in the spirit of what Magma Studio is, the prompt is going to be the idea of having superpowers. So I think like Magma is a great example of like a superpower that develops because of a limitation, right? Like this new thing got innovated and now we all have this new ability to draw together that we didn't have before because of the limitation of social distancing. So that just got me thinking to say, here's a really simple prompt. What would be a superpower that you've always wanted to have, and you can choose to portray that in any sort of way that you want. Or if you get a completely different random idea, feel free to run with that too.
It's so super. Super potato.
And I'm not saying that everybody now has to like character design superheroes. You just like, tell whatever story you want to tell.
About a superpower where your laundry is instantly done. Is that a superpower?
It's definitely.
Okay.
We do laundry in our home for 5 people, and yeah, that would be an amazing superpower. One of the powers that came up, I think, in the very first session that we did for this jam with Lightbox, was the power of whenever I take a nap, time stops.
Oh my god, I was literally just drawing that.
No way.
Look. See?
Okay. Well, no, that
Little
idea never
sleeping
happened.
person.
It never happened.
I want the superpower
Well,
of eating
now I
everything.
can't do it.
The superpower of eating everything you want without getting late.
I'm drawing that also. I just want to eat with no consequences.
Yes. All the good food, please. No exercising.
Oh, and you guys can feel totally free because we got a bit of time now. We're starting into the second hour of our stream. You can interact with each other. If any of you guys wind up starting to like collab impromptu, like do whatever you want. Have a good time with it. There's so many different things happening right now.
What are you? Oh, is that his brain? Thank you. I like that. Yes, this is going to be a mind reading Bashan. So that's what it inspired me. The superpowers. I want a Bashan that can read minds. Whoops. No, I like it. You can leave it.
Why did I choose to draw chopsticks? I don't know how people hold them.
Superpower is that I can steal other people's food.
And they don't know it, or just
don't know
it's too
it.
bad for them.
Too bad for them, and they don't know it. Can you imagine getting food for free for the rest of your life and how much money you would save?
Oh, that'd be great.
That was my plan at Netflix before they sent this one.
I know. You know what? Before they sent us home at Netflix, I actually was working from home because I took like a little bit of vacation, and then I would just like visit every once a week, and then I would take my backpack and I would like hang it on my stomach. And I would go to the cafeteria, or not the cafeteria, but like all the free stuff, like the drinks and the ice cream, the frozen food. I would literally just fill my backpack up, and these people, like, who sit near there, they would kind of like be like, they'd be watching me and like follow me to the elevator. And I'm like, come on.
I mean, it should make sense, right? Artist, food, it
I
makes
may
sense.
or may not have been going home with cold brews in my bag every night.
Hey, you work there. It's for you.
Yeah.
At DreamWorks we have free food also, but for some reason the free food at other studios tastes better to me. So I'm always asking people to invite me over to their studio to check out the wares.
The grass is always greener.
I know.
Yeah.
So it sounds so spoiled and bratty. I complained so much about the DreamWorks food, and now I'm just like, oh, it's so much better at DreamWorks. I have to cook now every day.
Have you heard Nathan Fowlkes' story about a similar thing? Because when
No.
he was working at DreamWorks, and then across the street, Disney was bringing him in to teach there with some of their artists, and so he would he tells a story of how what was it? I forget which place he felt had the better snacks, but he would just, you know, because he's in both locations, he'd be able to just go for like the best stuff from each place.
It's funny because at DreamWorks, the snacks are not all the same across teams also. So sometimes we'd like go case out the other teams and see who had the better snack.
Oh, okay.
And go into their kitchens.
Yeah, people will budget to buy their own.
Yeah, it is really kind of that.
Well, the cafeteria at DreamWorks is really nice. At least it was back in the early 2000s when I visited there.
Oh no, yeah, it was absolutely nice. I was just selfish.
By the way, I heard this was from another one of these Zoom drawings, and I'm not talking about you, Linda, but apparently there was somebody at DreamWorks who was a twin, but then like the other person didn't work in the industry or something, but then they would like kind of switch their the ID so that the other twin would come in and like take yoga classes and have
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Is that true? Because people were talking about it.
I don't know. I've never heard this before.
Oh really?
I've joked with Helen in the past about that. She would about switching our IDs and going to our respective places of work, but I don't have enough money to be sued by Disney, so I'm not going to do that.
No, it's not a good idea.
No, she was like, just do this meeting for me. I was like, no, thank you. I don't know.
I remember you guys
it's a
talked about that
joke.
for
That's
April Fool's
fair.
Day to swap, and then that didn't happen.
Nice. I also heard that a guy from Disney had a wife who worked at DreamWorks, and the husband kept coming over every single day for lunch, and then eventually they kicked him out and told him he can't come anymore.
Oh my god.
I've seen people really like go ham at the cafeteria. Like they'll bring their like own to-go containers from home and just fill her up, and it's just props to that.
Guilty.
I was being at Netflix until I was like, wow, I've gained 10 pounds.
They don't do that at Adobe. We have to pay for our food. It's cheaper, and you have a million options, but you still gotta pay.
At Netflix.
Although like,
go ahead. Go ahead.
sorry, no. I was gonna just say that like sometimes I like the paid food at studios. Like I like the Disney paid food a lot for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's just because every time I've gone, they've had like mac and cheese.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that there's more options when you have to pay for it, but
Yeah.
it doesn't taste quite as good.
At Netflix, we had because like if you anybody who works at Netflix, you could go to the main Netflix building where all the tech people are, like the live action people are, and they had like floors where they had Apple products. Have you guys ever been there and like took a bunch of shit?
The vending machines.
Yeah.
We have that in the cafeteria. You get like free keyboards. and
I've
mouse
seen
keys.
them before.
What?
I've seen them before.
Yeah, it's like
That's
so.
You'd be surprised. Like nobody like really goes in there and rates it. I mean, but here's the thing: those AirPods are so expensive. Just taking those is like.
Kathleen,
Yeah.
do not look in our closet. I'm just kidding.
They have them on like 3 different floors there. So basically, I would go on the highest floor that has it, and I would just kind of walk down.
Go where it's private.
Oh my god, you guys.
It's so funny.
Is this being recorded and being posted? Because I don't.
Everyone's fired.
Hey,
Art director at Netflix.
Sorry to interrupt, guys. I got a message for Jared in the chat from the Magma Studio team. They were saying they're not exactly sure what the problem is that's happening for you, but one thing you could try would be playing with some of the brush settings. Try turning them on and off. Try turning on and off the stabilizer in there. And then
Stabilizer.
yeah, I think it's probably like a smooth brush stroke that might be creating some lag. And then the other thing they said you can try is checking the checkbox next to density, and then changing the minimum size and hardness settings. So it might be lagging out on some of those brush settings.
I'll give it a try.
Is there an undo button on this?
It should just be.
I've been doing Control Z and it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on my iPad, so I don't have a keyboard.
Oh.
Played yourself, Vicky.
Have you tried the 2-finger tap?
Nope, it does not work. I have
Okay.
tried that.
Oh.
Man.
Yeah, I was using it with a keyboard on my Cintiq, and it was because my hands just naturally went to the Adobe shortcuts, and it was like, oh, this okay, great.
Thank you.
I'm just drawing more D&D characters. I have nothing in my brain except D&D.
Well, D&D characters have powers, so
Yeah, she's going to be some kind of a mage, sorcerer.
or
I don't know.
the power
One
could
of
be
those
that
things.
you could become your D&D characters.
That would be cool.
So what's everybody's like favorite distant quarantine activity to do with your friends outside of video games and D&Ds or something? Is there like, because I need ideas.
Picnics at the park.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
picnic.
just gonna say park time.
Outdoor activities. You could go on a hike, maybe. Probably not right now, actually. If you live in a smoky spot.
It's been all Animal Crossing for me, so.
Animal Crossing's great. And Jackbox TV games. What else?
Yeah, playing code names online is really fun. I don't know if you've ever played code names, but it's like a word guessing game, and it can get really wacky. And they have a free online version.
It's that the tabletop game, Codenames, right? It's just
Yeah,
like a board game, yeah.
Exactly. So there's like a website where they just generate all the words for you, and you can just like share it with a bunch of people and just basically play over video chat, and it's definitely a very good time.
That's cool. Well, and actually, I think a lot of the really popular, at least a few of the really popular tabletop games have like developed like iOS app versions that you can network and stuff like that.
I've been playing my D&D games on Roll20, so
that's what
it's
my
all-
party's been using. It's a great resource.
yeah, it's awesome.
Do you use D&D Beyond for your character and stuff like that?
What's that?
D&D Beyond? Have you tried that?
Oh, I've used it as a reference, but not really much more than that.
Okay.
Part of it is because I'm doing a homebrew, so. I
Oh,
don't
right,
have
of
to.
course. Yeah. No, I just have a free account for D&D Beyond, but they let me part my character there, and they've got a great dice engine that just works
cool.
right off your character sheet. You can just click, any of the stats on your character sheet, and it'll automatically roll the correct dice.
Yeah, them adding the virtual dice over quarantine was such a good move.
While we're on the topic of D&D, I'm just gonna throw it out there that if anyone knows people that know how to write rule sets and things, I'm trying to make an Obscura pen and paper game. So
How to write what? Sorry?
rule sets. So I want to make
Oh.
a paper game for one of my games. I want to look this up.
You should talk to my brother. He used to work at Fantasy Flight. He did the Star Wars game.
We're gonna talk after this stream.
That's awesome.
Yeah. My brother's a game designer. He does board games. He did the Power Rangers game that was just up. He just did like the Sonic board game. He did the Game of Thrones like trivia game. But like his whole thing is like writing rule sets for games because like that's just what he does.
Perfect.
We did a Kickstarter together where we had a card game, by the way. It's available called Bargain Quest. If ever anyone wants to play a fantasy game where you play a shop owner and you try to keep your heroes alive, but if they die, it's not that big a deal. More heroes will come to town. And you just try to like make the most amount of money by selling them stuff.
I would play that game.
It's amazing.
It used to be called Adventure Capitalist, but then someone else had that name. So.
It sounds like a very appropriate name, though.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really easy and like it's like a middle of the road board game where it's not like super hardcore with like miniatures and shit. It's like very like kids can play if you're like over 10. It's pretty much
Oh, wow.
you can still play it,
That's cool.
but it's still got a lot of depth. Like it's been very well reviewed.
Mm-hmm. Now, for doing homebrews and developing your own RPG, I don't even know if it's still around, but it was a big deal back in the mid to late 80s, when you got beat up for playing D&D at school. That's when I started, but it was called GURPS, and the whole thing was it was designed to be kind of a blank canvas container for you to build out your own world, and kind of took care of some of the rule sets for you and that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
It was GURPS was an acronym, and I'm not nerdy enough to remember what that stood for, but it had something to do with like multi-universal role playing, yada yada.
Something universal role plays. Yeah, with my friends would do that in high school.
Yeah. It was really cool because people were coming up with cool ideas.
Both of the cats have come to join me.
Just gray blobs.
I know that everybody kind of started having to cook at home. Has anybody like mastered one thing?
I mastered Patsy U.
Oh,
Nice.
nice.
It's so good.
Definitely baking. I've been trying, well, I haven't made bread in a while, but I've been trying to perfect a brownie recipe and like a cake recipe, just like all the basics.
Nice.
Nice.
All dairy and egg free. It's great.
Somebody in the chat just said, I mastered the cheese sandwich.
Love that.
I mean, there's a lot to master there, depending on what kind of cheese you use. Yeah.
True. I went full into sourdough. That's what I did for quarantine.
Sourdough.
I'm sorry, Linda. I killed your starter. I killed it.
What? I think my starter is actually dead. I haven't fed it in a while. We'll see. But
my starter is dead. The one that you gave me.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Hey, Jared, are things working better for you now?
Yep, finally got it.
Good.
Got it going. You can tell because I'm actually drawing something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Figured it out.
Yeah, I learned a ton from that the Alien Outlaws workshop that you did.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no, just the way just the really simple process of the way that you approach your armature and then start building your shapes on top of it and stuff.
Yeah, I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I'm a real nerd for process. I love studying other people's processes because there's always something to take to make your own process better.
Yeah, that was very important to me when putting stuff out there. I wanted to make something kind of affordable and focus on just fast ideation for beginners and professionals. So I really was trying to just strip down the process so that a lot of people could follow it. And I'm almost done with part 2 because I got to line and flat color.
Yeah.
In the first one, and then I just start to turn forms with the flat color, mainly using curve layers. So I'll use a curve layer for the highlight, and then another one for shadow.
Sorry. Shit.
Oh shit.
Control Z.
I'm sorry. I don't have a keyboard.
There's an undo at the top. It's the
okay.
back error.
Where?
I
believe it. It's
just up at the
festive.
top.
I could do this.
I don't know. My drawing was great when it hit orange.
Thank you. Sorry.
Oh man, I was excited to start over.
I kind of like that.
That was the underpainting for everyone to start painting.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Burnt sienna.
Yeah, Jared, Kyle was using a similar approach in his creature design course, kind of non-destructively working curve layers for your highlights and shadows.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Kind of creating a curve layer and then masking it in and out.
That's interesting because when I had come up with a technique, that was well after the time I was teaching. So it sounds like we both kind of got to the same place.
Yeah, and he had mentioned,
magically.
I think he and a couple other guys over at Aaron Sims kind of stumbled into it, and he was saying something about it had to do with the way that ZBrush does things. And I don't know much more than that, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, innovation tends to happen that way, right? Like multiple people stumble into it because it works. It's good.
Well, a good friend of mine actually taught me about curve layers. Very talented guy, Anthony Francisco, and I've been using it to turn form ever since, just because you can do something in line, go to flat color, and then just by using those curve layers, you can add your highlights and shadows, and form instantly starts to turn, and it's non-destructive. And it's also very similar to matte painting techniques that I've seen used before. So it is very effective. I don't know if we have curves here.
we got layer blend modes, clipping masks. I don't know what kind of filter layers or those kind of things or adjustment layers we can throw on there.
There's lots of adjustment layers, it looks like.
Oh.
There's so many. That's exciting.
All right, in a few minutes here, guys, I'm going to take another quick tour because I'm really looking forward to hearing from each of you about your power. We've heard a little bit so far, but I mean, I'm just looking at the way that these drawings are coming out, and I'm excited.
Using curve layers is exciting. I've not ever done that, but I can kind of imagine what you guys are talking about. It reminds me a little bit, my boyfriend, what he'll do is he pretty much doesn't use color at all because industrial design, of course. And instead he uses opacity on the layer. So he'll just literally only work in black and just lay down different opacities of the layers, right? Like this layer is black, but it's at 20% opacity. This layer is at 40% opacity. It's kind of an interesting way to structure your values. But again, if you're thinking about curves and shapes and ellipses, it's, I think, a little bit easier than maybe a creature form to work with that.
Yeah, for me, I started in traditional painting. So for me, it's just laying the exact color, kind of like the alla prima method. I think that's kind of how I learned, which is it's super different. It's a really good book, though, if anyone's ever read it.
Which book was that?
Alla Prima.
Oh, okay.
By Richard Schmidt.
Yeah, it's a really important one for anyone who wants to do characters or it's a very basic painting technique. But yeah, it's great. It's definitely a required reading in our school.
Yeah, likewise.
I think the second version just came out too. It's got a bunch of amendments to the first book and then new.
Oh, really? Because it was really expensive online to get for a while.
Yeah, and that's the shitty part about that was if you bought it through his website, it was always available, but no one told you that he had his own printings on the website.
I don't know if you guys can see the chat, but you're getting a lot of love in the chat right now. Everybody's loving what they're seeing. We've got a good question that's come in that if any of you'd like to take a stab at it. Legendary Psyche says, I've been doing digital art for a year now, but I'd like to draw on more than just my phone. What beginner drawing tablet would you guys suggest for a small budget?
iPad, I think.
Well,
iPad.
You can now draw on basic iPad, right?
Yeah. And Intuos can swing it on us on a laptop. If you're working on a laptop, you just started school. I only ever had a laptop until I was a junior in college. And I usually relied on school computers, but I had a laptop and an Intuos plugged into it. And even that worked fine until I could afford to buy a Cintiq. And then I bought one used, which was great option. If you can find an artist that's selling a used Cintiq, that's a good way to get one.
Mm-hmm.
They last forever, so
they're
great used.
My last one lasted 10 years.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Which one did you have?
Longer than I had the 21-inch.
Yeah.
God, I don't remember the model number anymore, but it was 21 inches, and I bought it in 2008.
Yeah, no, those
The
things
really
are still
old
trucking.
one, and with the gray housings, they're bulletproof. You could throw those off a roof.
Oh, I remember those. Damn, those are old school.
I know that the latest and maybe the last couple of just base model iPads, which are usually around you can get them on sale for around $320 or so, or sometimes less. Those will work with an Apple Pencil, and then you can bust into stuff like Procreate is a great place to get into some digital painting without too much technical stuff to learn. Then Adobe Fresco is awesome too. Especially if you like the feel of traditional medium, their watercolor brush is really cool.
Yeah, I just downloaded that.
Yay! Thank you for downloading it. That's the program I work on.
Fresco? Who works on where?
I do.
Oh,
Hi.
I love it. It's so intuitive. I also use Procreate.
Yeah, of course.
I just started Fresco, and the pen sensitivity is incredible. So it's like it feels very familiar to Photoshop, and
Yep.
I really love it.
That was part of the point, as you can imagine. That's what the team wanted to do. They were like, how do we make all the awesome drawing bits of Photoshop, but just on its own?
And I was super confused too, because at first I downloaded Photoshop, and that's just like
Oh,
photo
yep.
editing.
Nope, no painting there. That's
Yeah.
why we made Fresco, because Photoshop on the iPad had to focus on one thing or the other, right? Like think about it. All the apps are going to focus situations, right? Like Photoshop is this giant beast that does literally everything. You could edit video in Photoshop if you were like that committed. Yeah, you can. You totally can.
Yeah.
So the team was like, listen, this is not the future. We need focused apps. And so that's why Photoshop on the iPad's just the photo stuff. And then Fresco is where all the drawing's going to live.
I literally downloaded it and spent a ton of time last night for the first time. It was incredible. It was really good. Thank you.
I want to see your stuff. We have to connect so I can look at your stuff and brag to the team about it, because they're super engaged and they love seeing artwork.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, I mean, you know, I have ArtStation, but yeah,
we'll figure it out.
A message, yeah.
Is there a one-to-one import of ABR files in Fresco?
Yes, there is.
Great.
They should work the same, and if they don't work the same, you just need to complain at us so we fix it.
Oh, I haven't the brushes. That's what you mean, ABR?
Yeah. So your ABR files that you like in Photoshop will go work in Fresco perfectly fine. And yes, if you're a free user, though, that's one of the things that's behind the paywall is the brushes. But you can use here's the secret. You can use libraries if you're a free user, and you can import as many brushes as you want. Don't tell anybody I told you that.
You just told the entire
Just tell
planet.
everyone.
Don't tell anybody. Just tell the
On this
Don't
recorded
tell
stream.
anyone. It's fine. It's fine.
That's super cool. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's totally fun. So you can use whatever brushes you want in library.
Well, I love the way the pencils and because you've got the more like typical digital art type brushes, but then you've got the brushes that are designed to emulate traditional media.
Yeah,
And-
the light brushes.
Oh,
Those are the
man.
water. So like literally there were Adobe scientists in the basement with literal paint screwing around and then trying to figure out how to approximate that into a rendering engine. And I'm not even joking. So that's
so cool.
That's why with the watercolors, if you get blue and then you get yellow, it will make green, like legit makes green for you. And they're always trying to improve it and make it really more realistic. So like for the watercolors, they want the color to pool on the outside edges, just like watercolor.
And it
Like they're going
does.
wild.
It's so
really
cool.
awesome.
Well, and like I started using the watercolor brush for the first time just standing at the Adobe booth last year.
Aw.
And if you've done real watercolor before, it's amazing how quickly you just adapt to it in Fresco. It just does what it's supposed to do.
No, that's so good. I'm so glad.
Oh, now I need to use Fresco.
Well,
Yeah.
definitely play around with it. Hey, I'm an artist too, so like no shit. Like I get it. You love the thing you draw in, and like do what you love. I'm not gonna stop nobody from drawing. You should draw on whatever, whether it's a pencil or whether it's ketchup. You need to draw.
You have the because I noticed in Photoshop there were these oil paint brushes.
Yeah, the mixer brushes.
Is that what it was?
I think they're called mixer brushes. At least that's what Kyle.
Yeah,
always
because
calls
mixer brushes in Photoshop are great. I love working with them, but I don't think that's what it was in
okay.
Photoshop app. And I couldn't find them in Fresco, and I had already because I thought that the Photoshop was it. I already started messing around with those, and they were amazing for drawing. And I couldn't find them in Fresco.
If you put them in a library, they should show up at the bottom of your pixel brush list. So at the very bottom is where all your libraries come in. And if you have any trouble, we'll connect afterwards and I'll help you.
Awesome. Yeah, I might harass you because those are.
I'm here for that. And I'm actually here for this, like it's my literal job. So if anybody else has questions, including the people that are on the stream, you can find me on the internet at Renee Cherry, and I'm here for you.
Hey, Renee, do you know if they are planning on doing any sort of a desktop version of Fresco, or if they're planning on bringing some of those brushes into Photoshop?
So On the Photoshop side, I don't know. It is dubious just because they're really complicated. That's one of the reasons why actually when Fresco released, we are on Windows, but we were on such limited devices because the live brushes use the GPU. They are like completely dependent on it. So we just finally opened up to so much more, like so many more GPUs. So basically if you have an NVIDIA card that's like better than like, I don't know, one from like 2 years ago, you're gonna be fine. So it is free on Windows right now. So not just the iPad.
Oh, whoa, you can get Fresco for Windows?
Yep.
Oh, snap. Okay.
And then don't forget that it round trips back and forth with Photoshop. So like if you're on your iPad and you're having fun and you're drawing in Fresco, when you open up Creative Cloud on your desktop, it'll just automatically transfer straight to Photoshop and you can keep working.
I know exactly what I'm doing after this stream.
I'm so glad. Have fun with it and make it better, you know, because like we're here for that. Complain to us. It is okay if you have complaints as long as it helps.
Well, the team there at Adobe is super cool. Like everybody that was at the booth last year, like really fun to work with. And like when you guys say like reach out and talk to us, you really mean it.
Yep.
Super cool.
They're passionate about art. Like all of them are such passionate like art teams. And I just feel at home because of that. It's really nice to be on a team like just full of people who are just freaks about art.
That's totally how I feel about working at Noman.
Aw.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like you're working for a school. It feels like you're working at a studio.
Right.
Because everybody, it doesn't matter if you're working in an administrative position, like everybody who works there is an art nerd to one degree or another. Yeah. All right, I'm going to start the Great Canvas Tour. Let's see, and I'm going to start in a different place this time. I am going to go up to the noodles because I've been watching those noodles because I'm hungry. So we'll start with the noodles. And I forget who was working on this. Yeah, who was working on this?
I just want to eat with no consequences ever, and as much as possible.
Perfect.
At all times. Like I don't want like heart disease or anything like that. I just want to be able to eat anything I want. Like Paula Deen's fried butter balls. I definitely want to eat those. All the food.
I will watch your superhero movie and read the comic because I would love to be able to do that too. I don't know why the universe ordered it that way. That those things are not disassociated.
Terrible for you. Carbs, delicious. Terrible for you.
And so is yours also the same one? Someone was talking earlier about the ability to just like steal people's food.
No, that was not me.
That's me right below it.
All right, then I'm going to go down there. We'll talk about that.
That's why she's stealing the rep.
Yes, my ability is to be able to steal anybody's food without them knowing, with no consequences.
Awesome.
So I don't have to spend money on it, you know?
Without consequences just for you or without consequences for anybody? I'm sorry, I'm making it ethical now. I should have done that. Because, I mean, that would be amazing if people didn't even know that you were stealing their food, right? Because then nobody would be after you.
Right. So I don't want anybody to notice that I'm stealing food.
Cool. So you're like the food ninja.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect.
Yes, that's what I want.
And wait, where are you? Are you these guys down here? Or no, you're the person eating the noodles out of the bowl. That's amazing. I love it.
I'm just laying there eating the food. But this is not an accurate depiction of my superpower because this looks like I'm just eating off of whatever people are dropping. I don't want that. I want to be able to steal people.
Well, that wasn't the read for me. It doesn't look like it's dropping out of her bowl. It looks like you're like using the force to take it from her bowl, but from the opposite side, so she has no idea it's happening. And she's just like, wow, I'm eating really fast.
Okay, I like that. Yes. Yeah, I'm going to go with that.
We'll just say that was your pitch.
That is my pitch.
Cool. All right, and I'm going to go down to Alex here. It looks like you're drawing the horde. It's so many of these guys down here.
My original superpower was cheating death. So there was this guy hiding in a bush behind the Grim Reaper while his decoy ate a bucket of nails. And then it just turned into a bunch of people just.
I love it. They're like, we want to cheat death too.
This is the kind of shit I draw in my sketchbook all the time.
Love it. All right, and I'm gonna go over to, let's see, Kathleen, is that you?
That's me. My superpower is I wish that when I got catcalled or hit on unwanted, I could turn into this. And then nobody would talk to me.
I love it. So good.
Oh yeah.
Goodbye. And then I drew the sun. His superpower is photosynthesis, so he's giving some of that to the plant.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Love it.
Thank you.
I love that.
All right, let's see. Where should I go next? I'm going to go up towards... See, I did this the last time. I need to just start following the cursors and not the art, because sometimes I find art and there's no cursor there. All right, let's see. Elaine, let's go to you now.
Well, there are days I just have like a huge art block, and they're like, and I just wish I could just transfer like what I planned into the canvas. Like I don't need to draw. I just simply transfer the image to my tablet or computer.
That's what's coming out after Fresco. So that's going to be...
Yeah, we got people working on
2.0.
that.
Yeah, they're in the basement with brushes right now. That's cool. I like that power a lot. And it's perfect for like, oh, the deadline's tomorrow. No problem.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, can I get that power for Monday?
All right, let's see. Sophie, how's it going over here? Did your cursor just run away?
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm like switching back and forth between windows.
Oh, no problem. I thought that when I called you out, you like disappeared. You're like, I don't want him to talk to
Oh
me.
yeah. Yeah, my superpower is I don't get anyone to look at my art. But my superpower, I've been thinking about this recently, is like knowing exactly what my plants need at all times instead of having to guess what might be wrong with them. So if they could just tell me, like, I need sun and I need water tomorrow, or like, I don't need water right now, please, that would be really great.
Could you hear them talking to you, or would you just know?
I think if they could talk to me, that would be ideal.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
You could become like the advocate of all plant life on the planet.
Yeah, I'd be like running up to people like, stop watering your plants.
Plant defender.
I love it.
Exactly.
All right, let's see. Let's see, Sunmin, where are you? Where are you going? I'm trying to follow your cursor.
He was the legal thief.
Oh, here you are. Oh no, we already looked at yours, right, Sunmin, or?
Yeah, so I
That's-
don't know what
that's-
she.
Okay.
Sunmin has left the chat.
All right, let's see here. I'm getting really scatterbrained now. It's that trying to do right and left brain at the same time. Let's see, we talked to Sophie. Victoria, I really like the way your characters turned out. This is cool. Looks like I see a little bit of water bending. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. It's just a water. She's like a sorcerer, and she's doing a water spell of some kind. I don't know. I just wanted to kind of do some fun patterns and show a cool character doing a cool thing.
Yeah, it's super cool. I just had that discussion with my kids the other day. Like, if you could only pick one, avatar ability, which one would be the ultimate? And we had varying opinions.
I mean, it really depends, because I think the science of Avatar isn't fully explained. Like, if you can control Earth, does that mean you can control all minerals?
Mm-hmm.
Or just the ones in the Earth? Because then, theoretically, you could kill people by just sucking out all the iron in their body.
Yeah. You really need to talk. You need to talk to my kids, because they are like ultra nerdy about this discussion, and they got these people they follow on YouTube who've like literally broken down the science and talked about just that. Oh yeah, no, they're like, well, that you could do that if you were like a super advanced earthbender. Like, those are like for the super high masters, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you've figured it all out, haven't you?
I mean,
that's-
I actually wasn't like an Avatar person. It came a little too late for me. So, you know, most of my elemental magic stuff comes from like Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, anime is much more my jam.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's see here. And who's done the it looks like the little girl up here in the upper right hand corner?
Oh, it's me.
Yeah.
She has like camera aperture eyes.
Oh, rad.
Yeah, I want photographic memory or just better memory, like overall.
Love it.
Such a good superpower.
So,
It
but
reminds me of
no,
the little
like,
girl in Akira.
oh yeah.
Oh, which one?
The little girl in the hospital in Akira.
The old face.
Oh, I need to watch that. I'm not sure. I need to look into that.
Blue children.
Now, is this a totally biological thing, or are these like implants?
Preferably something that I'm born with.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't have to be an implant.
Yeah.
This is just a concept.
I love it though. I love the lighting angle too. It's like totally. She just looks super powerful to me. Like I'm not gonna mess with that little girl.
Thanks. Yeah.
All right, and then the mind reading. Yes, the mind reading.
Yes,
dog.
the mind reading dog.
Absolutely.
So I just got really excited by all the cute stuff that people were drawing on the other canvas, and I was like, I want to draw something cute. So yeah, I don't know, superpower. He can read your mind. He knows your thoughts. How does that make you feel if your dog knew your thoughts?
Good.
Yeah.
You know how much I love him.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good thing.
I think that's one of the things that's so cool about dogs. A lot of them are so empathetic. It's almost like they can.
Yeah.
You know,
it's true.
They know when you need comforting, and they know when you need someone to steal your food. And... All right, let's see. It's come over here to Jared. Jared's doing something really cute, really chibi right now.
Kawaii.
No, this is super cool.
I want to be able to turn into a monster.
Yeah.
A scary, messed up, nightmarish thing, which it's funny. I used to do this when I was a kid in school. I used to fantasize about like hulking out and turning into a creature, and so I would draw monsters all day. And just it's interesting trying to do something in grayscale. It's very challenging because the resolution is a little limited, but it's nice. It kind of frees you up. It's like, oh, I don't get to noodle that face, but it is cool. So just like playing around with kind of like the forearm theme, the X, and kind of like repeating it in like a horn pattern over here, and just messing around. I kind of got a late start, but now that I figured out how this works, it's fun. It's fun, and the glitch, totally me. I realized I was painting or trying to paint on hidden layers or layers that didn't have the icon, the eyeball on.
Oh no!
Totally my bad. Could not figure that out for the longest time.
Well, I'm glad you were able to break through and get painting. This is super cool.
Yeah, doing something. Yeah.
I have to admit I'm nerding out a little bit because I'm getting to watch you work on a creature and I'm not watching a pre-recorded video.
It's a little slower. I speed up the
Oh
pre-recorded.
yeah, but that's where the juicy stuff happens, right? You get to see all the decisions and that kind of stuff. I could do that for hours.
Yeah. No, it is similar to that process. I'm trying to be very honest in the stuff I put out there, because I feel like there's so much misinformation, not necessarily intentional when it comes to education, but if you look at some of your favorite artists' work, all you see are just these incredible finishes. And how do you piece together process from that? And it all stemmed from one of the first books I ever got that had a huge influence on me, which was one of Brahms' books. It was available everywhere at like Barnes and Noble when I was a kid in the 90s. And you'd go from like painting to sketch. And that made me just fall in love with process more so than the final product. So breaking down how you're able to work in a very consistent way really helps in regards to teaching, and even in your own process. I'm always trying to figure that out.
Yeah, we were just talking about that on one of the other streams, is that one of the really cool things about this day and age is you can go on YouTube and see a million different artist processes, right? And just watch them paint and do stuff. But the challenge with that, I think from a learning standpoint, sometimes can be that a lot of times what you're seeing, if they're not teaching, if they're not explaining what they're doing, you're seeing their shorthand, and you're not seeing all the decisions they're making. So, for a beginner artist, where you need to really think about shape and form and composition, really experienced artists, you might be watching them and they're doing that kind of in their head as they go. So you're seeing that shorthand. And I know that, like, when I was starting out, I definitely fell into this thing of like feeling like I had to make that leap without learning the basics because I didn't know. So yeah, that's where I think and then the flip side too is like people are able to get tutorials out there that much more easily. And as soon as you can get your hands on some great learning resources, it's just there for the taking. And it's incredible.
Yeah. You could just get an education through YouTube, but you would have to be incredibly disciplined and
that's right.
Just kind of do your.
I think it's doable these days, though, for sure, to just do like some private education or like take a la carte classes online.
Go through the entire Gnomon library if you wanted to, and that'd be an incredible foundation on top of drawing every single day. And
yeah, I guess I mostly
challenging yourself.
Biz dev, so I probably is Gnomon mostly 3D.
It is. Well, when I was teaching there, it was mainly a visual effects based school. But when I was teaching, I was teaching one of the more traditional classes on character and creature design for a bit, and kind of refused to do it in 3D, knowing that it would definitely, the students would have enough of those classes as is. But yeah, when it comes to techniques utilized today in visual effects, I think Gnomon's pretty unbeatable.
Well, and they have, along the same lines of the class that you taught, they have folded in a ton of traditional training. And a big part of that is yeah, and a big part of that is like the values of the school, and very much for Alex, who founded it. It's like, if you're not just drawing every day, if you're not learning how to do figure drawing and studying anatomy and perspective and values, if you're not learning how to do it traditionally, you'll only be able to take your digital tools so far. And you'll feel limited by them when you shouldn't feel limited by them.
Most of the portfolios that I saw, back in the day, even unrelated to Gnomon, one of the most consistent things I would tell students is to just stop using the computer for a little bit, and just sketch pads, observational drawing, tons of observational drawing. If they were into creature design, then they should just be using a sketchbook and going to the zoo. Nowadays, you could definitely get away with doing that on your iPad. It's not necessary to be completely traditional, even though I fought that for a while, because I have a traditional sculpting background, and so it actually took me a while to come around with ZBrush, because I would tell students that they have to work in clay in order to understand sculpture. And then ZBrush kept updating, and it got more and more intuitive and amazing, and eventually became clay. And I got to a point where I was like, you could probably get everything you need in terms of sculpture out of ZBrush. It's possible.
Yeah, if you want to take an actual real clay creature and character sculpting course, you can do that at Gnomon too, though. We've got a great instructor there by the name of John Brown. So yeah, while the aim of the school is primarily, like, the full-time programs are going to teach you the digital production pipeline. So you're going to start out with the foundational skill sets. You're going to sculpt in some real clay and do all of the traditional foundational things to lay that down as the first layer, and then you're going to build digital production on it. But the graduates from our full-time programs are definitely launching into digital production careers, which is going to be a lot more 3D. But we have a lot of artists that will come through and sometimes take individual classes to pick up some of the more traditional stuff we're teaching, or to get into some character and creature design. We've got students that will take our foundation course, which is a lot of traditional stuff, intending to go to a different school than Gnomon. They'll just use that as a preparatory to build their portfolio. So you can definitely get both, but if you go through the full-time program at Gnomon, what you will come away with is ultimately you'll be a 3D generalist with very solid art foundational skills.
Oh, but is there anything specifically for animation, like for VizDev, visual development?
There's going to be, you're going to get some of that in kind of the conglomeration of the design classes, ranging from character, creature, environment, props, that kind of stuff. But when you get into the animation side, you're going to learn 2D animation principles. You'll spend some time there to get your foundation, but then you'll be
but not like designing for animation? Like the specific concept art for animation?
I know that we have, and that this might just be outside of my purview of experience because I'm a little bit more of a realism guy, but I know that we have options for people to go more in the stylized direction. And when they are learning conceptual ideas, I know that probably the coursework is going to have you, for example, if you want to do something more stylized from a VizDev standpoint, they will still have you learn like traditional anatomy and then learn how to push traditional human anatomy in the character design classes. But if you go just look at some of the student work on the website, we do have some really amazing like stylized characters coming up and then being handed off to animators. I know that it's not the same as VizDev, but also LookDev is a really big part of
oh,
the
gotcha.
pipeline.
But you do some of the 3D pipeline and animation.
Oh, that would be our primary with regards to animation.
Yeah.
We'll do the
Gotcha,
3D
that
pipeline.
makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Kathleen, were you on Scoob when Jackie was on Scoob?
Jackie DeRuco, I think. I
Yeah.
can't remember her last name.
She
No,
went
I don't think I was.
for VizDev.
Oh, that's so cool. Nice.
She's at Lightstorm now.
Oh, and the other thing I should mention is Gnomon works with the California ETP program. If you haven't heard of that, essentially Gnomon works with studios so that their employees can come and take individual classes and have those classes paid for by the state of California.
Nice.
As part of professional development. So, I mean, if any of you guys or anybody else is looking to either get into the digital production pipeline in 3D or even just wants to come in for a figure drawing class, the whole gamut, I can definitely, you guys all have my email address. I can definitely put you in touch with the person that works on that with the studios, because we've got a bunch of industry artists taking individual classes right now at Gnomon because of that. And anybody that's in the chat that heard me say that too, I'll drop a little contact thing in the chat in case you guys want to reach out with regards to that.
I don't know if somebody already asked this already, but do you guys have any VR related classes or anything?
We do use, so like our education lead for games, for the games pipeline, he's working with VR very extensively.
Cool.
He's, how should I say it? And I just did a stream with him recently. You can find it on our YouTube library. His name is Anton. I know that he's working with the students. We have a VR lab at the school, and he's working with them to bring VR into their pipeline to utilize it as a tool, especially when they're starting to get into like real-time environment art and that kind of thing. I don't know that we necessarily, because the entire curriculum at Gnomon, it's basically one major, and that's digital production. So you'll learn every aspect of the digital production pipeline. So if you choose specifically games and working within game engines, you'll have access to that lab. You'll have access to all the stuff that he's researching and making available as a part of that pipeline. I know that a more robust curriculum, potentially specifically with regards to VR, could be in development as a future thing, but I think we're basically following it very closely. We're utilizing it, and as we see where it's going, that'll definitely have an influence on our curriculum.
I see.
Yeah.
I would love to learn some VR stuff.
Have you guys messed around like in Gravity Sketch or Medium?
I have messed around in Medium because since Adobe bought it, I'm like low key trying to like figure it out. Because I went to school for animation, right? So I loved modeling, and modeling was one of my favorite parts. But of course, the corporate world got in the way. So, but I just got an Oculus. I've been playing around. It's fun, but I have to admit, I'm so used to edge loop modeling that it makes me super anxious to just lay down stuff. Like I'm like, the topology.
That's funny.
Right? So like actually if either of you have any tips on somebody who basically put down Maya 10 years ago and now I'm back trying to model, how do I like deal with my existential crisis?
Have you checked out Gravity Sketch?
No, I haven't.
So Gravity Sketch is kind of VR's answer to that. It still is a little bit more on the intuitive side. So what you can do in Gravity Sketch is you can basically do your initial design sketch in 3D space. Right. So what a lot of people do is they'll sketch the silhouette of a car and then they'll divide that and mirror it, like stretch it out. And then you can start drawing in your topology. And they do dynamic subdivision. So it works more on a traditional, like kind of hard surface modeling workflow. But it's a little bit more simplified still. But the guys on that team are constantly rolling out new features that are starting to make it more and more capable towards what you'd be doing in more traditional hard surface.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's super fun. I've barely scratched the surface, but I love the way like Finian McManus has been using Medium in his concept workflow. And then I'm looking at, because I have not learned Maya extensively. I've done a lot lately in ZBrush, but for me, something like Gravity Sketch gives me access to more of that precise type modeling and to begin to understand how that works. That and ZModeler and ZBrush is pretty cool too.
Yeah, that is solid.
Has anyone tried Blender? I've been using that one for like blocking in my Vista work, and I really like it. Yeah.
Blender's awesome.
It's nice that it's free because, you know, for what I do and the extent that I need to go with 3D, it gets you there. And there's like a built-in lighting system that's really nice. The Dynamic Sky. Just been telling everyone about it, especially if they're a student and they don't want to pay for Maya. It's like a really nice alternative.
I spent like $100 on like a handful of add-ons, like Box Cutter. There was like Hard Ops. There's one that makes like ropes in Blender, and the fact that you can just like buy all these extra little plugins for a little bit of money on your program is insane.
Was Yama Yurabev just developed something? He just dropped it like either earlier this month or last month.
You can like put photos straight into like a plane and model from photo, and it like extrapolates the information into like the Z depth.
There's that, and then also he just came up with something called Quick Shape, which is like a really simple, super intuitive, almost like Box Cutter. It works really well with Box Cutter, but you can basically just draw shapes and determine how that shape will materialize in 3D space. You can like quickly iterate, like if you turn on a mirror plane, you can start iterating like limbs of a robot or a mech or whatever, and just do it as more of like a person drawing it out. Kind of like how, Jared, you were doing your armature. Like they'll just do that in Quick Shape and then adjust it from there.
In Blender?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm meant to pick up Blender. I tend to work on multiple projects at once, and so I'm kind of at the mercy of my old tricks all the time. So I haven't been able to go beyond ZBrush, and then every time I try to go beyond ZBrush, they keep coming out with new versions, and now I don't have to learn a new program because the hard surface stuff is better. But Blender, a lot of people have been picking up Blender. When my last stint at Marvel, everybody's making the donut, doing the donut tutorial.
The Blender Guru donut.
Yeah, and it was driving me crazy because obviously these people are more talented than me if they have the time to make their deadlines and learn, a new program. So I'm dying to try it, but between ZBrush and Keyshot, I mean, especially for like a character creature guy, you're kind of covered. When it comes to more complicated scenes, Blender. I would definitely try that.
Well, and I didn't know this anyway until recently, but they just released a version of Octane Render specifically for Blender that's free.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So
And
you can
it-
plug that into Blender now for free. And that's exactly what I'm using Blender for, Jared, is if I want to do like a quick, just specifically proper character render, I'll take it into something like a Keyshot or Marmoset. But once I've baked my topology and stuff, I can bring it into Blender and I can set up an entire world and do like a keyframe image.
See, that's awesome.
And it's actually surprisingly quick to learn. And that's coming from a guy that's totally 2D, that's just barely started getting into 3D this last year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
But there's a really good line of tutorials on YouTube done by a guy named Grant Abbott. He's very direct and to the point. He doesn't talk around what he's doing a lot. I'll send you an email with links to that if you're interested.
Yeah.
I'd also love to plug a guy named Von Ling.
Oh, I haven't worked with his stuff yet. Yeah. Oh, Heavy Poly. Yeah.
And I have never really used 3D. I just started using Blender in like January, and I feel super confident with 3D now.
He's a great teacher too. The Heavy Poly, the whole Heavy Poly tutorial pack is like really easy to follow. And the hotkeys pop up for you, which is like really nice. It's like a whole little list of them. So if you forget, it's like really intuitive. But it does change your hotkeys, should just be aware.
I just watched from Blender Guru. He interviewed the guy who created Blender for
cool.
an hour or something, and I'm like, man, this is the guy. And he talks about why he made it for free. And the Blender Guru guy's like, why didn't you like make it? Why didn't you get money for it? And he's just like, money doesn't interest me. It's not. And I'm like, damn, what a hero.
Yeah.
Von is amazing.
Guys, I want to be respectful to everybody's time. We are just slightly over the 6 o'clock mark, and I don't know if any of you guys have another place to be. I am like totally down to hang longer, but I wanted to make sure that I had a chance to get to everybody's superpower here, and I am now cannot remember who I've not gotten to. Can you guys help me out there?
I haven't done anything.
Where are you at? Melanie or?
Yeah.
Yeah, where are you?
I'm the crazy cat lady in the popcorn.
Oh yeah, cool. Right next to Jared, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks to the person that actually completed the other cat, because there's a layer on top and I couldn't draw anything.
I'm here for support.
Thank you. But yeah, so my first superpower I would love to have, it's like actually the ability to like bring color back to corals, because coral reefs are dying and they're just bleaching and turning white. But I didn't want to draw that because I actually drew that a couple months ago. But since quarantine started, I've been trying to remain like zen as much as possible. So I want the superpower or just control like my anxiety.
I love it.
And also I want to be able to multiply my cat whenever I'm anxious, because like his purring is the only thing that really calms me down. So I always imagine multiplying him into like 100 cats in my apartment just purring next to me, and that feeling just warms me.
That's super cool. And in a different context, like that could also be super intimidating, right? Like if you were like standing there and somebody was confronting you and suddenly you could summon all these cats.
Oh, I would love that.
That's super cool.
I don't care what everybody else thinks. I'll be like, look, this is my superpower, and it's like 300 cats if you're in the room.
So apparently you do not have a cat allergy.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of do, but it kind of went away when I just started putting my nose in my cat every day.
You're not the first person that I've heard say that.
How can you not put your face in your cat? It's the best.
Especially that soft belly.
Yes, exactly. It's just super soft. And if your cat is cool with it,
I'm gonna actually I'm gonna sign off, but it was really fun. It was great to see you. Thank you everyone who came. I just gotta sign off, but
for sure.
Yeah, I'll see you. Bye.
Bye, Victoria.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
Bye, Victoria.
Yeah, actually, I got to bounce too. But
Yeah, I want to save this real quick though. Take care, everyone.
Have fun.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Just while we're all here, thank you so much for being here and for taking the time. This has been super fun. I've had a great time just hearing from all you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, this has been amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, I gotta head out myself too.
Yeah, no worries at all. Yeah, we're actually over the 6 o'clock mark. So I'll just say to everybody in the chat, thank you so much for tuning in. This was the last of the 4 all-star artist jams that Noman is hosting for Lightbox, and then we're kind of wrapping up Lightbox today anyway. So this has been an amazing weekend. I've had such a good time with all these artists. Definitely want to give another plug. There's still more content to catch for Lightbox. So if you're tuning in here and you don't know what Lightbox is, get over to lightboxexpo.com. You can, I think it literally only costs $1 to get in to see the rest of the program. So even just $1 for the rest of the day is nothing. But Lightbox is an amazing artist convention that was debuted in Pasadena, California just last year. And this year they've taken the entire thing online and been doing some really innovative stuff, like providing Magma Studio for artists to connect and draw. So check it out. Our sponsor for this stream and the channel that we're on is Noman School. We're a 3D art school in Hollywood that specializes in training artists for careers in visual effects, animation, and games. And if you're interested in taking even an individual class at Noman, or if you want to get a degree at Noman or take one of our full-time programs, you can do that as well. But for anybody interested in an individual class, we're also offering a special Lightbox discount of 20% on our individual courses. And I will paste into the stream chat here how you can go about doing that and get in touch with us at Noman. But with that, guys, thanks to everybody who's been here. This has been a real treat. And this link will stay up for all the artists. If you want to, you can go up to File and save a PNG to your desktop or something like that of what we did together. And yeah, hope to bump into you guys again in the future. This has been an awesome time.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much.
All right, cool.
This has been great.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your Sunday, everybody.